Good afternoon, Team Fit and Fierce. I know last week we had talked about doing lessons 5 and 6 this week in our workbooks because we had been going along at a pretty good clip of 2 lessons a week. However, I really want to camp out on lesson 5 this week and spend a little bit more time on that one individually. It is called Deciding What You Want, Determine Your Direction, and Harness Your Choices to Get You There. What do you even want? Why do you want to be on this program? All those same questions that your coach asked you that very first phone call or meeting that you had. Because it's really important to determine why you want to do something as much of a journey as this can be, as far as finding your optimal health. If you don't know why you're on it, it's just going to be a diet, and it's just going to be something that maybe frustrates you, or you have no idea why you're doing it or what the purpose is. So if we could really spend some time developing your why and figuring out what it is you want to achieve and accomplish on this program, I think you're going to find it a lot more successful, and you're going to understand yourself. You're also have the potential for having a complete mental shift in your thinking, and that's when I always know that my clients finally get it and they're going to be successful, is when they have their mental shift. I get very excited when I hear that. I physically hear it in their voice. So let's actually go over Chapter 3, Motivation for Change, in your textbook too. I want to talk you through this Chapter 3, not just tell you to go read it. We're going to look that over, and then we'll get into Lesson 5 in the workbook here in a second. So turn to page 19 in your textbook, Motivation for Change. A lot of this material is not really Dr. Anderson's, it's Robert Fritz, his friend and mentor, speaking in this chapter. And so this is some of his information on creating structural tension and deciding why, figuring out your why for wanting to do this program. Why do you want to change, it says. A lot of times we want to change to solve our problems. Our doctor told us our blood pressure's high, your cholesterol's high, you need diabetes medication, you need to lose some weight. And so you go home and think, I have to do this. I have to make these changes because my health depends on it. I need to eliminate all these problems in my life. It might be more emotional than that. You might say, I don't feel good about myself. I feel self-conscious when I'm out, and I need to eliminate those things in my life. I need to get rid of those fears and those feelings in my life. It says here, that's true of most changes that we change in order to solve our problems. They're based on solving a problem or trying to get rid of an unwanted situation. This type of motivation almost never leads to lasting change. So what do we do when that is our mindset? Keep going with me here, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Typically, you make some changes at first, but later you fall back into your old ways of behaving. Why? Because whenever you experience emotional conflict, that is feelings of negativity, you want to stop. Who wants to feel uncomfortable? It might be that you're hungry on this program at first. The first couple of days are very difficult. The first 4 days can be difficult. You might have a headache. You might be hungry. You might be tired and cranky. That might be a lot of water for you. There's a lot of things that can happen in that first 4 days that your coach is there for you. Make sure that you reach out to her or him and use them for the support that they are. Because they have gone through the same program as you. They know the way it makes you feel, and they're there to encourage you and support you every step of the way to get you into fat burn. And once you're there, you feel much better. But if you can remind yourself in those first 4 days, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Because I need this health. Why? So that I can play with my children. They need me. So that I don't hurt anymore. I want to be my old happy self. I haven't been happy in a really long time. Keep those thoughts in your mind as you get through those first 4 days of why do I want to continue? I just really want to stop. I don't like the way I'm feeling. Continue. Think about those reasons why. Think about those things. Let's go through this these steps here in a predictable cycle of how things have been running generally in people's lives. That emotional conflict leads you to act. So you got back from your doctor's office after he told you you needed to lose some weight. And you thought, okay, these are the reasons I need to act. Because you've acted, it makes you feel better about yourself, even if the situation hasn't changed much. So your blood pressure didn't really go down much, but you feel better about yourself because at least you've put forth some effort. Feeling better takes the pressure off, lessening the emotional conflict. Less emotional conflict means there's less reason to continue doing the things that reduce the conflict in the first place. Since you feel better, you no longer feel a pressing need to follow through on your actions, and then, oops, the original behaviors return. When you have those old habits, those are more comfortable than as you're trying to create these new habits. Conflict-driven motivation is one of the major reasons why people yo-yo back and forth. So that same, I have this need to get something done, I put it into action, I feel a little bit better about myself, so I do less action, and then I fall back into my old ways. That's the yo-yo. So instead, let's have that mental shift, and instead of thinking about how to fix your problems, let's shift your focus on creating health and always moving forward. Turn to page 23, the teachable moment. I asked you the question earlier, what do I do if I am in the mindset that I just want to fix a problem? He addresses that. It says, you're not doomed. Your starting point is just your starting point, not your end point. So keep moving forward. You can recalibrate your motivation right now. You're about to take a step forward. You've made the decision to begin losing weight, and even if that first step is a reaction to the emotional conflict you feel, hey, at least you're committed and on the move to getting healthier. Number 2, it says you're open to allowing the change process to succeed. That mental shift in your motivation, that is dramatically going to improve your chance of success. Having that mental shift off of, I'm trying to fix the problem, and on, I'm trying to create health here. And you truly want a positive outcome. If you truly, truly want this, and you can imagine yourself in that process, you're going to be more successful. Okay, so we need to structure your success, and we're going to do a lot of that in the workbook here. But I want to show you how structural tension works. Robert Fritz is the author of Structural Tension. He says you need to know your starting point. I had you go through chapter 5 in your textbook. You could have also clicked on the link to Dr. Anderson's habitsofhealth.net and gone through the test online to find out your starting point. When you find out your starting point, you're going to literally write down the things that test taught you. For instance, on page 27 of your workbook, there's a chart in there that has you write some of those things down. What was your current actual health score on that test? Even if it's low, even if it's negative, write it down because that is your starting point. We are moving forward from today. What's your current weight, BMI, waist circumference, body fat level, activity level, current energy level, sleep quality? He goes through all the habits of health. He wants to know your starting point now. If you don't have the workbook, write this out on a piece of paper. If you didn't even take the test, go on Dr. Anderson's website, and I can repost the link. Take that test, and then the things that I just read out to you, write those down on a piece of paper at the bottom of the paper. Okay, so that is your starting point of your structural tension. He says it's really important to track your progress. You're always going to have a new current reality. So even if you're halfway through this program, do this lesson because you're still at your starting point from today and you need to be moving forward to your goal. And your goal may have changed. Some people tell me that their goal weight is, say, to be 160. And then once they hit that weight and they realize, hey, this has really worked for me and this is easier than I thought it would be, they adjust their goal. So it could even be an adjusted goal for yourself. Be honest with yourself. We shouldn't lie to ourselves about what we want. So really being honest about what your current reality is and what your objectives are. Okay. He does go into the power of choice and 3 types of choices. And he talks about, Robert Fritz talks about, sometimes we have 2 things that we really want, and it could be in the moment. So for instance, you really want this optimal health, but in the moment you really want a banana split too. So you need to be thinking about what you really want more. You have the power to make any choice or decision you want. Nobody's told you you can't have anything. Now you're going to kick yourself out of fat burn, and you're going to make your goals further, your objectives further from where you are today if you make that decision. But that's ultimately your journey. We're not here to tell you that you did something wrong, or that you are wrong, or that you're on the wrong path. You have that choice. So what do you want more of at this moment? Optimal health or the banana split? Say it's your birthday or your anniversary. That might be the banana split, and that's okay. Make that decision on your own. Don't fall into the temptation in the moment, because that's when you start to feel guilty. When you say, man, I was doing so well, and then somebody offered and I didn't even think about it. Practice your stop, challenge, choose that we talked about last week. Okay, so I like the little internal dialogue that he has with himself about wanting that banana split on page 27. And it really does happen in such a fraction of a second, that whole conversation that goes on in your head, that on the outside, the external conversation ends up being, would you like a banana split? And he says, no thanks, even though he went through this whole thing in his head about how he wanted it, and he kind of battled back and forth with himself talking through it. And he really did do stop, challenge, choose. Okay, so enough of the textbook for now. Let's go back into your workbook. So you've done the first part of structural tension. You wrote down your current reality. When you focus on what you desire in life, you're tapping into a very powerful source. Take a few minutes each day to visualize what optimal health will do for you. This is something you're going to need to think about every single day. You might be really motivated today, but then in a week, if you don't keep this in the forefront of your mind, it's going to slip away, and you're going to stop all the progress that you've made because it's not something that you're focusing on for your optimal health. I like, he gives some examples. I will look and feel strong. I will have the energy I need to be a great mother, wife, and friend. I like the bullet point that says, I will be a healthy example for others to follow. I feel as a health coach, I really have that one in the forefront of my mind. I often think to myself, is what I'm doing inspiring others to also want to be healthy? Or are they going to look at me and think, oh, well, she's doing something unhealthy, so maybe that gives me the ability or the opportunity or the permission to also do something unhealthy. So I always try to be inspiring to other people. Even if you're not a health coach, be an inspiration to people. That's really important. I will feel great and confident in all my endeavors. And again, that's not just physically, emotionally and spiritually and all of those things. I want to feel great in what I'm doing. Okay, so the second part of structural tension, you're going to put this at the top of your paper. If you do have your workbook on page 28, you can write in what you visualize for yourself there in that box. What kinds of things do you want? What do you think optimal health really looks like for you? For one person, it might be that their goal is to run a marathon, where optimal health for another person might just that they are living without any medications and that they can get through their day energetically without a nap, without that extra cup of coffee. So optimal health may be completely different from one person to the next. So it needs to be what you think optimal health looks like. What do you visualize for yourself? For me, I visualize that as being first the woman of God and putting him at the top of my structural tension. I want to organize my life around that, as well as being the best wife, mother that I can be, having patience. That's big for me. I often don't have patience with my kids or with my husband for that matter. So having patience to me is optimal health. Because I feel so good, because I'm not tired, because I'm not cranky, because I'm not hungry, I can have a happy, healthy attitude every day. Showing lots of physical love, telling with words of affirmation, being happy and vibrant, active, and playing with my kids, giving them my full attention. There was a period of time when I knew, as I was sitting there at the computer, or I was sitting there watching TV, so tired, that I should be playing with my kids, but I just couldn't bring myself to get up off the couch to do it. And I hated that. I really did. And so giving them my full attention and playing with them every day is important. Surrounding myself with like-minded women who also love God and their families, health, and exercise. Those things that you really want, your friends and your family and your support system are going to help you achieve those things. If you have people in your life that are not supporting you in those areas, you have the tendency to not bring them up, but for them to bring you down. It's just the way it is. So I really encourage you to find even one friend with the same goals in mind that you have, whether it's somebody from these boards and this journey and this group with your health coach, or if it's your spouse or your best friend that you've had since childhood, any of those people. For me, optimal health also means traveling the world and having lots of energy for exercise. Now, I did put an actual weight on there for my own self as well, just monitoring that and knowing what my healthy BMI is keeps me accountable in that way. Having that pair of jeans that you can always button up, that's a really good way too of having that accountability for yourself. Trying them on every couple of weeks even, just to make sure that you're in the right place is good for you. Okay, so now on the bottom of your paper, you have your current reality. At the top of your paper or in your workbook, you have your goals. Now draw an arrow from the bottom to the top. And that is your vision, desire, goal, structural tension chart. Now we can list ways going up that arrow of how you're going to go from here to here. And this program is a major vehicle to get you to that place. So always keeping this chart pinned in your office, on your door, on your mirror, wherever it needs to be in your car, that you can look at it on a daily basis and be thinking about my current reality and my goals and how I'm going to get there. Okay, it says on page 29, you'll find that if you organize your life around what matters most to you, your world will actually be a lot simpler. Wow, happy day to have a simpler life. What a great stress reduction tool. So really, Dr. Anderson and Robert Fritz are teaching us how to make our lives less stressful by organizing them. Isn't that wonderful? And then he goes into setting your goals. Okay, so now we have to set our goals up through that structural tension chart and that arrow. Remember, your goals are something you want to create, not something you want to eliminate. So be in that mindset as you create your goals. Also make sure that they're SMART. That's an acronym, S-M-A-R-T, for specific. You want to have a specific goal. You don't want to just say, I want to lose weight. Well, how much and by when? So be specific. Measurable. Make your goal something easy to measure. That could be by a date. It could be something, he gives the example of saying, I want to be able to walk a full 18 holes of golf with my golf bag. That's something that you can measure. Okay, I walked 18 holes of golf with my golf bag and I felt really good about it. Achievable. Make sure you don't put your goals as something that is way over your head. If you are in a place where you are 100 pounds overweight, having a goal of losing that weight in 3 or 4 months is not achievable or healthy. Make sure you're sticking to that 10 pounds a month, knowing kind of what a healthy rate of weight loss would be. Maybe you're training for a half marathon. You need 12 weeks or more to train for things like that. Don't say, I want to schedule one next month in 4 weeks. That's just not even achievable at this point, and that would be unhealthy. Okay, realistic. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. That kind of goes along with achievable as well. If you set a goal of never having dessert again, that's not really realistic. And that is not really how this program works. It's not that you'll never get it again. It's that you're choosing to make healthy choices in your life. So for instance, if you're in maintenance and you choose to have fruit for dessert, that would be a better choice than if you chose to have ice cream with sprinkles all over it. You can still make your decision, but you're choosing the healthier option. Okay, and time oriented. Don't just tell me you want to lose 10 pounds, because you could take 4 months to lose 10 pounds because you're not doing the program as strictly as you should or could be. So if you say, I want to lose 10 pounds in this month, I could help you achieve that. And you could have that kind of on your timeline as well. So 2 weeks in, I should be down 5 pounds. I'm halfway there. I'm right on track, so you can really measure that. Okay, write down your goals. This is the most important exercise in this guide. What are your most important goals in life? Why these goals? And he even talks about making a dream board. Now, these are things that we've done over the past couple of weeks. A couple of weeks ago, we did some dream boards. So that might be something you want to get back out again and be thinking about and making. If you're new to the program, dream boards are a really great way for you to visualize your goals and keep that in the forefront of your mind. Again, posting that somewhere where you see it often, of making a storyboard. So on page 31, he even has a little box there about how to make a storyboard. It's very simple, something that if you really want some extra advice on, reach out to me or your health coach, and we can talk to you about that and show you ours as well. All right, I know that was a long post on just one section, but it's a very important one, and I'm glad that you sat with me through the whole thing. Thank you so much. Have a great day, guys. Bye.